So we're here with Jack Daniels from Lasso Games, which happens to be a local Huntington-based game developer.
Yeah, we are. There's two guys from here in the Huntington area, and a couple of guys that work remotely, but the business is all run from my home office. We've been working on games for a little over a year now. We've got Mini Law out on Steam now, early access, and just trying to get game development kind of moving here in the Huntington area.
Mm-hmm. So. I think I even see over here you've got another game being demoed here as well.
Yeah, this other one, it's called Leventerra, Tale of the Winds. We started a Kickstarter campaign for this August of 2015. Mm-hmm. It fell short of its funding goal, but we kept working on it, and we've been working on it for a little bit over a year, too, and it should be ready to release sometime next year, sometime in 2017.
Also on Steam?
Yeah, it'll be on Steam as well. But the idea is that we're going to start with PC and Steam releases because they're, I guess, the most accessible from development standpoint to get to. And then, if our sales do well enough, then we'll move to Mac and Linux. Then we'll move to, possibly PlayStation, Xbox, mobile devices, So
at this point, it's the Steam PC side, not the Steam Mac or Linux side. Is that right?
Yeah. I mean, I've actually have Linux builds and Mac builds of the Leventerra demo, and I've got one Mac build of an old version of Mini Law. So we have the capability to do it. But right now, we're really kind of focused on Mini Law, and we're doing weekly updates for it. So every really Thursday at midnight, so Friday sometime, we launch updates on Steam from that, and it's kind of a long process. I mean, it's uploading the builds and writing the change logs and all that stuff. It takes 2-3 hours to do that for one build. So if we were supporting Linux and Mac, et cetera, then every time that we release an update, then we'd have to do that same process for all those builds as well. That's one of the reasons that we've kind of been away from it. Another one of the reasons is that we just use Windows machines for development. One of our guys has got a Mac, and another one has a Linux machine. But I mean, it's the QA level that we would need to properly release it all is just it's more probably than we can handle right now, being a really small studio.
Less footprint, I think, too, because then you don't need, if you're going to do 2 machines for QA, you don't need 6. You just need 2 windows.
Yeah, exactly right. But we have had, and also Steam's, there's only 1% of the Steam clientele that actually used Mac and Linux. So,
unfortunately, I'm in that list.
I've met so many people, and statistically speaking, it's a extreme minority, but I've met at least no less than 4 people that said, "When are you gonna get a Linux build, man? Yeah. What are you neglecting your customers for?" You know what I mean? So I'm like, well, we got to get it done. It's gonna happen, but I think we're gonna get the game into a state where we're maybe only releasing, maybe once or twice, once every 2 months. Once every 3 months, something like that. And right now, we're still working on it so much. We've got a lot we want to do, and we keep getting all this community feedback. You guys should add this. You guys should add this. This is not thing. This is unbalanced. You should, tweak this. And so, what we're doing these weekly updates is really kind of really keeping us funneled into one operating system and platform.
Can you talk for a second about if somebody wanted to get into the industry, like in your case, if they want to open their own game studio here in Huntington, what type of things did you learn the hard way that they might need to learn up front?
As far as the business side of it, definitely what you want to do is have something marketable first, I would say. My background is I actually got my degree in music education from Marshall. I was a music teacher for a little bit, and getting into game development, I started with tinkering with a couple of different IDEs. I used Unity and I used a Game Maker Studio, which both of these products are Game Maker made. We did a couple of game jams, which is what our trophies over there for. We did 48-hour game jams on that, and then, but really just getting our hands dirty and making things. I mean, that is that. I mean, that's my greatest thing. If somebody wants to get involved in it, if you want to go to school for it, that's great. But your school is going to do only as much good as you're willing to apply it. So if you're learning code, if you're learning development and design in your hobby time, in your free time, you need to be using it. You know what I mean? And that would be what I recommend to anybody that wants to get started in game development.
It does seem to be the running theme when I ask people what should have to be done to get in the industry is you got to have a passion for it, because if you don't have a passion for it, you're not going to do it over and over again. And then, like you say, don't wait for the assignment, the job assignment. Start doing it yourself. Start tinkering. Start finding things you want to do so you can build your resume, build your experience.
And a lot of people, and I suffer from this too, is have kind of like an imposter syndrome too when it comes to being a programmer, being a game developer. Like they don't want to believe at first that they really are a game developer, but all you have to do to be a game developer is make games. It's as simple as that. I mean, it sounds crazy, but there's so many tools out there on the internet now. I mean, you could, with a quick Google search, game making tools, you will find so many resources available, and tutorials and instruction and just all free stuff. And the tools are there. You know, it's just a matter of getting the work done and then making something that, you know, people are going to be interested in. So all that being said, my advice is don't forsake your marketing and your social media and stuff like that, because when I first got started in doing this, I would have thought that I probably would spend, 10% of my time doing social media marketing, but it's really closer to like 50 or 60. It's an immense part of the process.
So every once in a while, close the IDE, go on and make a Facebook update.
Oh, yeah,
let your followers know you're working on something.
Absolutely. There are a bunch of developers on Twitter and on Facebook that, as far as I can tell, they don't have one project that they're working on that's like going to be their game. They just have like several different projects, and they post GIFs for the game, and people like it on Twitter, and they have Patreon accounts, and people pay them because they like the content, and and that's a great foundation to build, because once people know that you can make games, you can write things, people will get their wallets out and they'll say, I want to buy that game, finish that game. And then it's just a matter of pleasing your fans at that point.
Well, great. Thank you so much, Jack. And we should be looking for Mini Law on Steam, early access.
On Steam, early access right now. That's listed as Mini Law, Ministry of Law. And the 11 Terra Tale of the Winds has been greenlit, and it should be coming out sometime next year.
Okay, great. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Appreciate you taking the time.